Hello guys, what's up? I hope everything is going good. Revised? Any doubts? Is everything going good? All of you? Okay. Let's start our next chapter, people. A very simple one, easy one, nothing complicated, easy to understand as well. But yes, wherever you have doubt, you guys can let me know. Chapter 11, Compounding of Offenses, Adjudication and Special Courts. Compounding of Offenses, Adjudication and Special Courts. Okay. Now, people, till now we have been seeing, from probably from CA Foundation, CA Inter, you guys have been seeing that whenever there is a non-compliance, a company or a director or an officer in default, they were liable for some penalty. Yeah, it can be imprisonment or it can be fine because of whatever non-compliance they have done, or it can be imprisonment and fine in certain places. But yes, recently there was an amendment, that is decriminalization of offenses. In most of the sections, people, they have removed the penalty part, because see, from administrative point of view, you start imagining, whenever you do not file an annual return or whenever you're not doing something properly, you're not doing a fraud, but you're not filing a form. But previously, so many sections used to prescribe for imprisonment. Just like this, what that person has done, nothing, imprisonment. Yeah, if your law is so stringent, people, who will start a company in India? Now, don't only think from a listed public company point of view. You think from a private company point of view. Small people will also do business. They will only be the directors. They will only be the shareholders. From their point of view, if you think, don't you think it is too much? Probably they would even hesitate opening a company. Correct? So recently there was an amendment where they have decriminalized lot of offenses. Your book have been amending that, so everything is amended only. Okay. Now, sir. So, under Companies Act, people, whenever there is a non-compliance, there is penalty. Sir, what is the penalty? There is 5 types of penalty which is given in Companies Act. The first one, fine only. Next one, imprisonment or fine. It can be jail or it can be only fine, penalty. Or it can be imprisonment, jail, or both. That is only imprisonment, only fine, or both also can be levied. Next one, imprisonment and fine. So mandatory, both will be levied. Next one, imprisonment, jail only. Got this? So, sir, fine or imprisonment, fine, imprisonment, or both, fine, imprisonment only, or your imprisonment and fine. Okay, sir, now why do we have to know this? People, listen carefully. There is something called as compoundable and non-compoundable offenses. You guys should have known this in your CA Inter. I hope you guys know this. Yeah, or even in your CA Foundation, I guess would have come across this particular thing, compoundable and non-compoundable. Sir, what do you mean by this? Hey, where did it go? Sir, what do you mean by this compoundable and non-compoundable, for your understanding, if they may ask? So remember these things carefully. The word compoundable means, people, the word compoundable means whatever is an offense done by a person. It can be a company, it can be an individual or officer in default, it can be whoever it is. A person who has committed the offense, that person goes to the authority. It can be ROC, SEBI, central government. In general, I am telling you, he goes and he does a compromise. What do you mean by that, sir? Now imagine, people, if there is a section, if you do not comply with that section, then the penalty was around say 10 lakh rupees. The law says, see, now imagine if you have done a non-compliance, an authority should conduct an investigation. You should be proven guilty. Both the parties should pay lawyers' fees, and time involved 1 year, 2 years, multiple visits to the court. Don't you think it is time consuming? Bottom of the heart, even you will know that yes, I am liable. Someday or the other, my liability will come. So, what do these people do? These people will straight away go and they will only accept their offense. They will only say, sir, this is what we have done. You tell me what is the penalty, we will pay that. So, whoever is the wrongdoer, they will go for a compromise with the regulator. It can be ROC, SEBI, whoever it is. This is seen in many of the acts. If at all the regulator is satisfied, now imagine the penalty as per that particular section would have been 10 lakh. The regulator will only order for say 1 lakh, 2 lakh, or as the case may be, as he deems fit. If he feels no, he did not do any wrong, he may even waive off the penalty at times. So it depends upon the discretion of the authority or the regulator. Remember people, for an offense to be compoundable, only money should be involved. Meaning what? Only and only penalty. Or you can call it as fine. Only these offenses can be compromisable. Wherever people, if at all, imprisonment, that is jail is mandatory. Where imprisonment is mandatory. If an imprisonment is mandatory, those offenses cannot be compounded. So you can take the other way. Non-compoundable offenses which cannot be compromised. So penalty or fine that can be compromised. So which cannot be compromised? Here it will come imprisonment only. So now imagine people. If it is fine only, money only, you can compromise. That particular offense can be compromised. If it is fine or imprisonment, still the authority has the discretion whether to put you in the jail or to just levy a penalty of 1 lakh rupees on you, or imprisonment, or both, or fine. Here also it is or. People, the moment and comes, so imprisonment became mandatory, or imprisonment only. So these two scenarios are non-compoundable. I hope you guys understood what is this compoundable and non-compoundable. Clear all of you? Perfect. Now, let's start from here. Your actual act starts, the section starts. Sir, establishment of special court. Now, what do you mean by this special court? Imagine people, I'll give you an example of say Bangalore. In Bangalore, we have DMart, correct? In most of the cities, there is DMart. You can relate this example as per your city. Now imagine people in entire city, there is only one DMart. What will happen to that DMart people? Do you think they will be able to manage the rush? Do you think they will be able to manage the timings? Imagine the bill counter. First it will be 10 people in the queue, now 20, 30, 40. Now people will even stop going to it. Why? Because we know that we will not get the product, because there will be too many people involved. It's okay, even if I spend 10 rupees more, I'll go and get it from Big Bazaar. Don't you think that will be the mentality of people? Now imagine people, the same is the case with NCLT. The law has set up tribunals. The law has set up tribunal under Companies Act. NCLT has been set up, correct? Now people, if it is one offense, two companies, or some handful of companies, it's okay. NCLT can manage. Now imagine people, every day there is thousands of cases. Do you think one NCLT, one tribunal, can it manage? Is it possible? So the law says, that is the reason, whenever the number of cases become huge, and to make sure that the cases are dealt in a speedy way, in a very, very soon, not much time consuming way. They want to dispose of the cases as early as possible. So what the central government has been given a power, central government can notify certain special courts. Whatever is the tribunal's job, that special court may also do. It is at central government's discretion. If it wants, it may set up an additional court. Yeah, you going, instead of going to tribunal, come here and solve your disputes. Yeah, instead of going there, come here. So central government may set up certain special courts. For what, sir? For speedy trial of offenses. Trial means, people, where both the parties will be called in a court. They will exchange, their hearings, evidences. Based upon everything, you come to a conclusion. Yeah. So for speedy trial of these offenses, central government may establish as many special courts as central government may deem fit. So here, just put one star mark for your understanding. Who appoints the special courts? So special courts are appointed by central government. Okay, sir. Now, yes. So for the purpose of providing speedy trial of offenses, establish or designate as many special courts as may be necessary. Okay. Now our question is, sir, who will sit in this particular special court? There should be a judge, no? Yes, sir. There should be a judge. Who can be that judge? People, before coming to this point, I will give you some extra information. This is not in syllabus. That is how we have written as Gyan. I hope by now I have told multiple of times, wherever I have written Gyan, it's not in syllabus. It is just for your information. Okay, now what does it say? Listen carefully. Hierarchy of courts in India. Hierarchy of courts in India. Forget about these two things. Concentrate on the middle part. The topmost court of India is Supreme Court, people. The topmost court of India is called Supreme Court. Under Supreme Court, it is High Court. Yeah. Under High Court, people, Session Court comes. Under Session Court, Metropolitan first class, that is class 1. Second one, Metropolitan, basically it's second class, or they will also call it as Magistrate 1, Magistrate 2. So first comes your Session Court, next comes your Metropolitan Judicial Magistrate class 1. Next one is Metropolitan, that is Judicial Magistrate class 2. And the last one is Executive Magistrate. Just remember this, even in later point of time, in one place it will be of help. Sir, why do we have to know this? Now come here. Sir, central government has set up special courts, agreed. Now who will sit in that? Now people, look at this hierarchy. Session court is a superior court, people. They have a little more power. The magistrate or your metropolitan courts, they are a little inferior when compared to session courts. So whenever, assume a court has to hear a case where a penalty can be more than 2 years, those offenses are serious in nature. For that, you need to have a superior court. Imagine, people, there is a case in which imprisonment may be 5 months, 6 months, 1 month, 1 year. That means that case or offense is a minor one in nature. You need not have a big court for it. So you can go ahead with Magistrate 1 or Magistrate 2. Keep this in mind, and now look at this. You will understand it better. Who will sit in a special court? A special court is formed. Okay. A special court shall consist of a single judge holding office as a session judge. Whoever sits in the session court, that judge will come and sit here, a session judge or an additional session judge. Important. So special court, who will sit in that? A sessions judge or an additional session judge. When, sir? When will this particular person become the judge? When? In case of offenses punishable under this act with imprisonment of 2 years or more. So people, in special court, when will a session judge will come and sit? When it is a serious offense. Sir, serious offense where the imprisonment will be whatever the award passed judgment. If at all the imprisonment term will be 2 years inclusive or more, session judge will commence it. Sir, in any other case, meaning what? Less than 2 years. Write down there only. If it is less than 2 years, then sir, a metropolitan magistrate or a judicial magistrate of first class. So sir, whatever we saw, they will become the judge. So serious offense, session judge will come. Not so serious offense, magistrate will come. Yes, people, 2 years or more, we generally consider serious. Less than 2 years, we consider it as not so serious. So, who shall be appointed by? Now, who will appoint these judges in the special court? It will be appointed by central government with the concurrence of Chief Justice of the High Court. So, central government will appoint these judges in the special court after asking the concurrence. Concurrence means taking even his opinion. So, they will take the opinion of the High Court of that particular state and they will appoint these particular people on the special court. So this is what was given here. So that is section 435, a simple one. Okay, sir. The next one. Offences triable by special courts, section 436. Nothing, notwithstanding anything contained in Code of Criminal Procedure 1973, all offences specified under subsection 1 of section 435, that is whatever is given here. Yeah, all offences triable there shall be triable only by special court established for that area in which registered office of the company is situated. Meaning what? Imagine people, sir, you are telling me you have to go and file or the case should go on in a special court. Agreed. Now, our doubt is that, sir, say Infosys. Infosys company is there in Bangalore, Mysore, Pune, Hyderabad. Chennai. Now, sir, we have a complaint against Infosys. Where should I go and file? Assume every state has a special court. In which special court should I go and file? The law says, wherever is your registered office, open MCA, search for the registered office. Whichever is your registered office. In case of Infosys, Electronic City. So Bangalore has the registered office of Infosys. So any case to be filed in the special court against Infosys, it will be filed in Bangalore. Is it clear? All of you? Okay, sir. Now what does the law say? Where there are more than one special court. Sir, imagine in Bangalore itself, imagine if there are 2 special courts. Now where do you want us to go and file a case? Then go and ask High Court, sir, please can you tell me, you are telling that you have to go and file a case with special court. But in my city, there are 2 special courts. Where do you want me to go and file? The High Court will tell you to which special court you need to go. So the first one says which special court having your jurisdiction. It talks about jurisdiction. The second one says when there are more than 2, then High Court shall direct when there are more than or 2 or more, where there are 2 or more special courts. Yes, simple, clear. That is what is given in clause A. Now, where a person is accused of or suspected of the commission of an offense under this act, forwarded to a magistrate, such magistrate. Now, what is this particular provision? I'll tell you, then we can read. Now, imagine people, you think that there is a director against whom you have a problem. You think there is a fraud going on. Now you want to go and file a case in special court. Now, before going to special court, what if this particular person runs away? What if this particular person may not stay any longer? So people in such cases, you can go and ask the help of magistrate. If the magistrate feels or he deems fit, yes, this person may run away, or it is important to detain this person, means keep him in the custody, the judicial magistrate may order so to detain such person up to a period of not exceeding 15 days. So imagine I have a problem against Vijay Mallya. Sir, before I go and start a case in special court, I go and I request the magistrate, sir, I have a problem with him. I have all the evidence. If you can prove, magistrate may order to detain. Meaning what, people? Detain and arrest, the two different things, people. Arrest is the official one. Detain is until it is proven. You will be just in the custody of officials, authorities. So if you go and give a complaint to magistrate, they may detain such person for a period not exceeding 15 days. If at all it is in the case of executive magistrate comes below the judicial magistrate. So he can order a detention up to 7 days, not more than that. So sir, whenever you think that there is a person, a wrongdoer who may elope or who may not be able to be catched, in a later point of time, you may go and you can complain in judicial magistrate. Judicial magistrate may order to detain such person for a period not exceeding 15 days. If it is the case of executive magistrate, he may order to detain such person for a period not exceeding 7 days. Is this clear? All of you? Pakka? But at any given point of time, either of the magistrates, they feel no, detention is not required at all. You can straight away carry forward with the case. They will forward this particular case to the special court. So people, when detention is not required, then why to waste time? They will forward the court to the special court to start the trial. Trial is where you guys argue. Yes. Okay. When trying an offense under this act, a special court may also try an offense other than offense under this act. Sir, what is this? Imagine people, when a complaint is filed against a person. Now imagine I have a problem with Vijay Mallya. I think he's doing fraud. Or say for example, okay, I'll file a case against Subrata Roy. This is the best example. Sahara. Now sir, Subrata Roy, when I was filing a case against him, he has violated the provisions of Companies Act. Debentures part he has completely violated. And in addition to that, on Subrata Roy, there are many more cases like money laundering. So Anti-Money Laundering Act will also come. So special court may also take the other acts also into consideration. That is what is given here. A special court may try an offense other than an offense under this act. So not only this, it may also take any other thing in addition. When this is happening, it may take any other thing also. Is this clear? All of you? Pakka? Okay. Now people, listen carefully. Whenever a case is conducted, people, whenever a case happens, the case, before passing a verdict, there is a trial which happens. Trial, people, it will be basically a lengthy argument. There will be lengthy argument. This party will come, that party will come, evidences will be submitted, witnesses will be cross-examined. After all these people, a lengthy time, they will pass a judgment. That too, if you are a blessed child. If no, again this entire process will go on. Yeah. So at any given point of time, if the special court feels, it deems fit, they may even conduct something called as summary trial. Summary trial means, sir, people, it will not be so lengthy as the name indicates. It will be in short. The judgment will be passed, as soon as possible. There will be no much time involved. The judgment will be passed as soon as possible. Sir, regarding that, they have given a clause. See here. The special court may completely discretionary. If it thinks fit, try in a summary way. Try is nothing but trial only. Trial in a summary way any offense under this act, which is punishable with imprisonment for a term not exceeding 3 years. So what is that, sir? If you wanted to do a summary trial, then the maximum punishment that you may order under that particular section, you will generally be seeing no, minimum 6 months, maximum, say for example, 3 years. Sir, only such offenses can be come under summary trial. People, wherever in whichever section you see, they would have given no minimum and maximum. So maximum should have not been more than 3 years. If it is less than 3 years, only those offenses can be come under summary trial. Do not get confused. The next point might little tickle your brain, but understood this. So in a section, if at all the imprisonment is less than 3 years, that is minimum 6 or maximum 3, but it should be less than 3. Only those offenses can be come under summary trial, that is a speedy trial. Next one, when an offense is considered under summary trial. I repeat, okay sir, there was an offense, we decided to go ahead with summary trial. Who will decide? Parties are no da special court. What parties are what PM? So special court only will decide this. Okay. If at all the matter is considered under summary trial by the special court, the maximum imprisonment a special court can levy cannot be more than 1 year. The maximum imprisonment can be, maximum is 1 year. Imagine people, you have contravened any provision. I'm just giving you an example. Under that particular section, the penalty was 6 months or maximum 3 years. If at all you're coming under summary trial, the authority should maximum put you behind the jail should not exceed 1 year. That is the maximum. Though here there is a scope for 3, if you are coming under summary, you cannot go more than 1. Yeah. If at all they had stopped here, the provision would have been even more simple. But they said, if at all, after taking the case on summary trial, when the case was going on, the court felt no, this person is not eligible for 1 year. This person should be at least put behind the jail for at least 2 years. 1 year cannot happen. How? He has done so many mistakes, we are realizing after taking it to summary offense. But this person has violated so many provisions. If at all at any given point of time, if special court thinks this cannot continue on a speedy trial because I have to order more than 1 year imprisonment, then people, this case will automatically go to a normal trial. Meaning what? Again rehearing happens. Again a trial will be conducted. Everything will again go back. When the court feels that this person should be imprisoned for more than 1 year. So summary trial maximum 1 year. So people, that is what is given in this particular part. Just quickly read, let me know if you have any doubts. The special court may, if it thinks fit, try in a summary way any offense, term not exceeding 3 years. Provided that in a summary trial, imprisonment exceeding 1 year shall not be passed. Provided in the course of summary trial, when it is going on, it appears to special court that nature of case is such that sentence of imprisonment for a term exceeding 1 year may have to be passed. Then, after hearing the parties, record an order to that effect and thereafter recall any witness who may have been examined and proceed to hear or rehear the case in accordance with the procedure for regular trial. Little at least went inside, all of you. Yeah, okay. So that is your simple chapter, people. And here every letter and word is important. That is the reason I'm taking here. There is one section which is very lengthy. I have again given it as a summary chart. Appeal and revision, people. So a special court passed on a order. I did not like it, I am aggrieved with it. What to do? You may file it with High Court. So whatever is the appellate body, if it is coming from special court, you will file it with High Court. Simple, as a simple provision. Next one, application of court to proceedings before special trial. What is this? Very simple, people. If a magistrate is sitting in the special court, then whatever are the laws applicable for that particular court, metropolitan magistrate, the same will apply to special court. Imagine if a sessions judge is sitting in the special court, whatever is the law applicable to session court, the same law will be applicable to the special, whatever is the law applicable to the sessions court, the same law will be applicable to the special court. That is what is given here. See, the provisions of Code of Criminal Procedure, that is CRPC, shall apply to the proceedings before a special court. The special court shall be deemed to be a court of session or a metropolitan magistrate or a judicial magistrate, as the case may be. Whoever is sitting there, depending upon that, whatever is the laws applicable to that court as per your CRPC, your criminal procedure, whatever is the procedure given there, the same thing will apply here. Awesome. Offenses to be non-cognizable. Offenses to be non-cognizable. Now, what do you mean by this? Listen carefully, people. Now, sir, special court will conduct hearings. That is, the case will be conducted. Who is what is what, everything will be decided. Finally, an order will be passed. Okay, that is secondary. Now, listen carefully. Sir, a special court to pass any order. Now, my question is, how did the special court get to know that, yes, this person has done a fraud? Yeah, this person has done a fraud. How will the special court even get to know? Sir, someone should have filed a case. People, regarding that is this particular discussion. Listen carefully. When I talk about offenses, people, whenever I talk about offenses, there are two types of offenses. When I talk about offenses, there are two types of offenses. One is called as cognizable offense. The another one is called as non-cognizable offense. Cognizable, what do you mean by this? Cognizant or cognizable, you're already aware of. Yeah, listen carefully, people. What is this cognizable offense? People, cognizable offenses are serious in nature. Meaning there is something really emergency, urgency. It can be the cases of, if I have to give you an example, murder, rape, kidnap, serious fraud. They are called as serious in nature. These offenses are cognizable offenses. So what, sir? In this case, people, a police will come to arrest you. People, very, very bad movie influence. I'll ask you a question. What is that, sir? Imagine, people, in movies you would have seen, there will be big zamindar or a very, very big person. To arrest him, a police will come. Once the police comes, immediately that big zamindar, that VIP, celebrity, he will ask the police one question. What is that question? A police who has come to arrest the zamindar, the VIP will ask him one question. Hey, you have come to arrest me, no? Do you have what? Do you have a warrant, arrest warrant? Remember, people, cognizable offense are very serious. Something bad may happen. You don't have time. Cognizable offenses, police can arrest. So police to arrest the accused, that is on whom you have a problem, whom you think has done the wrongdoer. Police to arrest the accused without a warrant. Don't try to rattamar and all, you will forget the concept. Cognizable, because you are only aware of it. So you don't need a warrant and all. Yeah, you don't need a warrant and all. Getting the point? You don't need a warrant and all. You can directly go and arrest that person. Getting the point? And in most of the cases, people, cognizable offenses are non-bailable. Meaning what? You will not get a bail. You cannot, you cannot release the wrongdoer or the accused out of the imprisonment before the complete judgment is passed. Sir, what is non-cognizable? On other hand, non-cognizable is not serious offense. It's not so serious. Here, a police to arrest you needs a warrant. Generally, these will be bailable offenses, people. They are generally bailable. Yeah, generally bailable. I'm not saying always it is non-bailable here, always bailable here. It is generally. So there are two types of offenses. One is cognizable, one more is non-cognizable. You can have this, write it somewhere there. Yeah, it may be important because when you're reading this particular section, here and there it will tickle your mind. So what are they telling people? Important, they may ask a question here. Now listen, what do they say? Notwithstanding anything in the Code of Criminal Procedure, every offense under this Act, except the offense referred to in subsection 6 of section 212. People, what are they saying? Again, have it for your interpretation. All the offenses. What are they saying? All the offenses under Companies Act, they are saying that they are non-cognizable. Meaning what? You cannot arrest without a warrant. Why? Because they are minor. What will happen in annual return, financial statement, books of accounts? What is there? Debenture or your deposit? Have you done anything very, very grave? So all the offenses under Companies Act is non-cognizable except. So only one section, people, is cognizable. You know what is that? That is given under section 212 subsection 6. I know, people, do you know that there is recently I watched a movie, people. It's a biopic on students. It's a very big hit in all the languages also. Which movie is that? Even you guys know. Which one, people? First of all, do you know there is a biopic on students? Didn't you know there is a biopic which is made on students? Don't you know? It is made in multiple languages also, no, people. This one, Gajini. Gajini is your biopic only, no? Agreed or not? Touch here and say, don't you think it is your biopic? He writes here, you guys write on Cheaty and go. He forgets every 15 minutes, you forget every 10 minutes. Gajini is only far better. Okay, section 212, subsection 6. What is this? Remember this, any offense which is coming under a serious fraud investigation office, only that is cognizable. Meaning what? You need a arrest warrant. It's a serious offense in nature. That is what is given here. Read. Every offense under this Act, except the offense referred to in subsection 6 of section 212. I have given it to you here only for your reference. Shall be deemed to be non-cognizable. So all are non-cognizable except that one. That is what we have written here. Clear, all of you? Awesome. So what is cognizable, non-cognizable? I have given this here. Okay. No court shall take cognizance of any offense under this Act which is alleged to have committed by any company or officer. So people, to continue the point, what did I tell you? Sir, if it is a cognizable offense, a police officer can arrest even without a warrant. Yeah, because here they only know. You need not tell them anything. In non-cognizable offense, people, they will not know. You will have to inform them. People try to relate the topic and read, don't rattamar. Yeah, okay, sir. Cognizable, they already know. Police, courts, they already know. That is the reason they can arrest you without a warrant. Non-cognizable people, they do not know. They do not know. Non-cognizable, they do not know. So people, remember, if it's a non-cognizable offense, you can write there or you can write here wherever you want. If it's a non-cognizable offense, court does not have the power to initiate suo motu the proceedings against such wrongdoer. So what do you mean by this, people? Listen carefully, this can be a questionable point. The law says, people, imagine, even if the court knows, and if it is a non-cognizable offense, imagine the court knows. Now, okay, court got to know. But if it is coming under a non-cognizable offense, the court cannot take a decision or it cannot initiate proceedings on its own. Meaning, for you to shout, someone should come and at least prick you. So for here, the court to conduct the proceedings, someone should come and file a case. If no one comes and files a case, the court on its own cannot conduct any hearings. Bold, it should just go like what? Venta, all of you, read this now. No court shall take cognizance. A court will not accept any offense under this act if it is made by a company or any officer, unless only after a complaint in writing made by, remember this also, who are eligible to make the complaint? They can ask you a question. A registrar should make, a shareholder, a person authorized by central government in this behalf. Registrar, shareholder, or a person authorized by central government. So 3 people, registrar, a shareholder, a person authorized by the central government. So these 3 people, only these 3 people, any of them should go and file a case in the special court to initiate the proceedings. If not, not possible. Clear? All of you? Okay. Sir, so only these 3 people are, sir, no one else are, sir. If at all the complaint is with regards to issue and transfer of securities, non-payment of dividend. I repeat, if at all the complaint is on issue and transfer of securities, or the company has not paid dividend, then even SEBI can also file a case. So these 3 people plus on these 2 grounds, there is one more person who can file. So 3 people, registrar, shareholder authorized by central government. On 2 grounds, issue and transfer of securities and non-payment of dividend. 1 person extra, that is a person authorized by SEBI, can come and file a case in front of special court. Something understood or not? Hey people, did you understand? Dun, 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 dun. Correct? You understand? Hey people. Yeah? Okay. So I hope you got it. Okay. Sir, now the question is, shareholder is free, sir. Yeah, what work does the shareholder have? Now what work me and you have says law. You know, but registrar and a person authorized by central government, they are busy people. You know, they will have their work now, people. You will be filing forms and all. So they're occupied. Now imagine people, these people are only filing the case. But when the case is going on, don't you think so? A person who has filed the case, they should also come to court. Don't you think so? The law says, if it is a registrar or a person authorized by central government, only if it is required, the special court may call them also to the court. If not, even if they don't come, it is fine. Sir, where is it given? It is given here. Quickly read, let me know if you have a doubt. Registrar or a person authorized by CG, the presence of such officer before the court trying the offence shall not be necessary unless the court requires. Clear? Is it clear? Sir, whatever is this particular provision, whatever is given here, this will not affect winding up chapter. Whatever liquidator wants, he can still do it and he can continue doing it. Simple, clear all of you? Okay. So I'll stop the video here, quickly revise and come back the entire one. Yeah. And then let us proceed with the further sections.